All right, everybody, welcome back to Beans No Ball. The day before draft day definitely got quite the influx of news, so definitely not gonna stretch out the intro. Christian, I think we could just start off with huge money for Amon-Ra St. Brown, USC wide receiver that obviously we both know and love. Christian, now let's get your thoughts first.
Yeah, honestly, this is well deserved from Amon-Ra. I mean, I know how I said the other day he is not I would say too overlooked, but I feel like he's more under the radar when it comes to top receivers in the
Which
league. I
I'm
know a
not
lot of
gonna call
people
him
pass look him.
overlooked. I think you're
No, I
focusing
know,
too much on some
but
comments.
I think I think with everyone's with like CD, Jamar, Jefferson, and Tyreek. I know a lot of people they keep forgetting about most people from what I've been seeing. They keep forgetting about Amon-Ra, and Amon-Ra he has lived up to the hype. I mean, he's a mid-round gem. He was in the fourth round, and I mean, he's definitely worth all the money for what he's been doing. He literally had basically identical stats, even to CD. Everyone talks about CD's great ass season, but he nearly had identical stats compared to CD. So Amon-Ra, he's definitely in the conversation for the top 5 receivers in the league here. The deal came out to be 4 years, 130 million. So that's 30 million a year, and if I'm not mistaken,
130, I
right?
believe it was 120.
120, 120, there you
120
go.
was 77
Yeah,
million
120. Yeah.
guaranteed.
Yeah. So obviously, once again, the receiver market is steadily going up once again, and this just still leaves in question for the contracts that are now for Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and CD Lamb. So these contract talks, they're gonna start getting a little more hefty coming in the next couple months, maybe in the
Obviously,
next year.
that's the first thing you said to me when we started talking about this. What's CD gonna get? That's obviously a big point of conversation. And going back to the thought of is has Amon-Ra been a little overlooked? I mean, I guess you could say. I mean, in some sense, I mean, I think it's been talked about so much that he's a little overlooked. That I mean, I say we kind of overhype him a bit at times. If I'm being honest, which I love Amon-Ra. We both know that, but I think sometimes what can we call him? Like top 10 receiver, I would probably say I wouldn't probably let him get into that top five because I mean, hey, like you would think maybe if I'm saying he's not top five, that could be a knock on him. But I mean, the wide receiver play in the NFL is so good right now. It's definitely not a knock to say he can't sneak in the top five. But I mean, definitely. I mean, like you said, more than deserved from him. I'm very happy to see him, get his worth. I mean, we definitely see, like you said, people overlooking him, talking about, oh, is he really worth this? He definitely is. And of course, the Lions still making all these moves. Penei Sewell getting the richest offensive lineman contract in NFL history. I believe it was also 4 years, 112 million. He's getting more guaranteed money than Amon-Ra. That's definitely a surprise to me. 85 million guaranteed. Now, definitely, I mean, him by far more, definitely well deserved. Definitely in my eyes, top 2, top 3 tackle in the league for sure. And not much more to say here. Definitely a big reason why that tandem of Gibbs and was it Montgomery that was definitely a top 1-2 punch in the run game. He was a big part of that, and obviously he's getting paid handsomely for it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, top 2. There's definitely an argument there for him being the top 1 offensive line in the league here.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan Campbell, he loves him. I mean, he really loves him. I mean, him at that position. I
Great
mean,
players
he's
in the
done
trenches. What's not to
Yeah.
love, man?
I mean, come on now. And then look, there's already a culture bringing up in Detroit, keeping one of your best players on the team, especially in the O-line. It's already a good look for the Detroit Lions coming into the next season. Now moving on with my Cowboys, we finally did something with a big name, Micah Parsons. And as expected, as hopefully that Jerry ended up finally getting it done, but they finally decided to pick up Micah's 2025 fifth-year option for Micah Parsons, coming at $21.3 million. This is nice. We're still gonna keep Micah the 5th year, nice, but the contract for Micah, it's still gonna look a lot heavy, especially they're getting at the defensive position here. Looking into the linebacker option for that, it would have been 24 million. So obviously, Jerry keeping it cheap, giving up the option for the defensive end position, due to I think it had to do with the amount of snaps he played last season. So saving about a tiny little bit over 3 million in money wise. But without a doubt, this is well deserved for Micah and that contract. As much as how scared I am, he's gonna deserve all the money that's gonna come to him. He's just gonna keep playing hard as he gets this upcoming season. I know he's got a lot of fire in his heart, especially with everything that's going on with this Cowboys organization.
Yeah, and that's the thing when you look at the Cowboys contract situation. I mean, you already talked about CD. We got obviously CD's contract, Micah's contract. I mean, I don't remember who else you guys got coming up with contracts, but I mean, obviously those are the big two. And
yeah,
there's a big chance. I mean, I know you don't want to think about it, but there's a big chance
I
that
know.
Micah ends up walking or one of those two. It's hard to see Jerry paying both of them. That's
Mhm.
that's the harsh reality of the
I
situation.
wouldn't be surprised though. I hope
Yeah.
Eric keeps saying he's gonna be an Eagle, which I'm hoping it's not.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
not happening.
he's
He's got
I
too
mean,
much hate for Philly, man.
Yeah, I mean, sure,
He's a
he's
Ram.
from there, but yeah, there's no huh?
He's a Ram.
Don't stop talking, please.
That's
But
the
as much
vision
as
in
I don't want that to happen,
2025 offseason. He's a
the
Ram.
vision is blind. If we're being realistic here, but without a doubt,
Yeah.
it's all gonna come down to Jerry, whoever he wants to pay, because these two players, Micah and CD, way too much money. It's gonna be one or the other.
Yeah, of course. And hey, talking about these fifth-year options, obviously another big one that came up. I mean, actually, I'll just throw it in because we didn't even talk about Pat Surtain. Obviously, just a couple days ago, got his 5th year picked up. We'll see what the Broncos end up doing with that. But today's news with Jamar Chase finally getting his 5th year picked up. We know you just alluded to it a little earlier. What's the contract going to be there? Well, I told you they're going to give him the state of Ohio at this point. The way the market keeps stacking up, and clearly, they're pushing that off at least until next year, and definitely expect this. I mean, sure, we'll get at least one more year of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and I mean, good for him. I mean, definitely expect him to be holding out once after that, but I mean, I don't know. It's hard to see what the contract situation is going to be in Cincy. Obviously, he's going to be the focus, and we got some other news from Cincy that we'll be getting into in just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Cincy, there's already a lot of things coming down to play here in the downside part of him. I already brought up a while, I think in the last video. I mean, I already brought it up. I mean, come on, this Bengals team. I mean, like I said, Joe Burrow, he's already gone through 2 season-ending injuries. I'm gonna keep adding that back on. This defense is on a slight decline, you could say here. And then now moving on to the next transition from the other star receiver, T. Higgins. He requested a trade from the team a little earlier.
Since March, but I guess he's doubling down on that, yeah.
Yeah, but he's finally, like you said, he's doubling down now, and he's for Sean. And then the star defensive end on the defensive side, Trey Hendrickson. He did say he requested a trade here, but
yeah, we just saw some random reports that I don't know what was it. He's saying that he's open to a long-term deal to stay with the team, and he's also considering retirement. So, bro said all of the above on the options of what to do with his career. I don't know what's going to go on with Hendrickson. I mean, literally just the last video just came out this morning. We just talked about, I believe we had Jared Verse going tomorrow in the draft. It would be a great 1-2 punch with Hendrickson. Who knows about that now moving forward. It definitely looks like the focus is going to be all line like what we were talking about. I mean, actually defense. They're thinking about it, Cincy, they got a great team, but they got so many needs, if we're being honest. It's a little confusing what they end up doing. They're definitely a team to look out for, but I mean, yeah, a lot of confusion going into Cincy because of these news coming out just today.
Yeah, I mean, like we said right now, Trey Hendrickson, losing him is going to be a real big detriment in that defensive line. I mean, he is their anchor for that team, just like a lot of anchors in the league with his defensive linemen. T. Higgins, I mean, what team's really going to pick up a contract that hefty for Higgins? I mean, we said it before, it's going to be like, 20 million something for a receiver 2. I mean, look at Devonta for a receiver 2.
I mean, that's what happens with the. Well, I mean, if we're gonna say Devonta, I mean, he's a wide receiver 1 in a lot of teams, if we're being honest. But I mean, look, the thing about T, I mean, like what we said, that I think it's a phenomenal mock for him to go into Arizona. That's a great situation for him to go in with Kyler and Marvin, but. It's like you said, a lot of teams might not want to pay that, but let's also look at how fucked up the market is for a receiver. You kind of have to pay $20 million a year for a wide receiver 2 anyway. So
that's kind of like the bare minimum now for at this point. 20 million is the bare minimum.
Point, teams are gonna just have to end up biting the bullet if they want a solid wide receiver core. And like the point I've been making with the Arizona Cardinals, look at the division they're in. That would definitely be a move to look out for. And I don't know, you got any more on this Bengals situation? I know it's a little loaded, but unless you got anything else to say, I think that's gonna wrap us up. Just a little heavy on the news just before the draft. Can definitely expect to see a lot of draft day trades. They're gonna get that all jumbled up into a little recap of day 1 tomorrow. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys back for more draft coverage.